Hi, everybody. This is Deborah, and this is
Norma.
Norma. Hi, and welcome to
Yeah,
the
Norma, we're both here.
welcome to the Sphere of Being podcast, and it's all about caring for those who care for others. So, it could be managers of care homes, teachers, doctors, nursing staff, vets, people who've got kids that you have to do your day jobs as well and all of that kind of stuff, because as I say most weeks, we understand how difficult it is to get everybody
Mm.
else sorted and then sort yourself out as well, because sometimes we leave ourselves as secondary, and it can catch up with us sometimes, can't it? We sometimes think, oh my gosh, you know, and we just stop the hamster wheel because I just want to get off for a bit and have a bit of me time. And it's important to keep ourselves really cared for and well centered, and know that we've got enough fuel in the tank for us so that we can give more to others. And as I say, Norma and I, we share our experiences and things like that, so that hopefully, along the way, there might be some things where you go, oh yeah, that makes sense for me. So yeah. And today, what we thought we'd talk about is how to get a little bit more space in our minds to be able to keep going with all the different things that we've got to do, because it can get a little bit overwhelming sometimes to have 1,001 things all buzzing around there at the same time. And it's helping to see the wood for the trees, creating a bit of space. How can we do that? And what benefits can that bring? So have I explained that all right, Norma? Is that all right?
Perfect, absolutely perfect. And again, I'm doing this again, Deborah. I'm listening to you and I'm looking around thinking, I need to create some space in this room because it is getting cluttered. And a cluttered environment gives me a cluttered mind, which makes me feel like too much, like it's piling up. So yeah, creating space, and that's definitely something I'll be doing when we finish today.
Oh, bless
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's interesting because I think when am I a perfectionist? I think I was. I think I was. I'm not so much now, to be honest with you.
mm,
Now I've been on my journey of self-development and stuff like that. But there was a time when I had the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I just thought, I had to control everything, or I felt like I had to control
mm,
everything. That if it, I'd just like go over, be obsessive about stuff a bit. And what I learned about myself was that was because I was brought up in a family where um, there was one of my caregivers was a narcissist, and I was the scapegoat for that narcissist, and they blamed everything on me. They blamed my existence on me. Apparently, I was the worst thing that could have ever happened to them because I destroyed their body and all that sort of stuff, and I was an accident and shouldn't have been, and all of that business. And then somebody else, my other caregiver, was very quick to anger, shouted at me as a child for I didn't even realize what I'd
mm,
done ever really, because I was a decent kid, I wasn't a troublemaker, but it
mm,
was trying
mm,
to please these people, to try and be perfect all the time, be quiet, be good, be anything that anybody wanted me to be, to stop myself from going through the pain and the anguish or what have you, and wanting to fit in and be loved. And I carried that on through my adult life, which I think everybody could probably say that's not going to bode well for the future, which it didn't. Um, and so the whole thing about my mind being cluttered, and what I have to put myself through, I've got to be very careful that I'm not going backwards into that. I've got to do everything. I've got to do
mm.
it like perfectly. Oh my God, if something was a bit out of place or I've said the wrong thing, I'd be like, oh gosh, I should have done it different and all of that. And it tends to build up. So I don't know if you feel sort of like that you have times, as you're saying, normally, oh gosh, it's a bit cluttered. Have you got any advice
Mm.
that you could give people, say what you do, and how you could create that little bit of space in your head to do stuff?
Yeah, but like I say, to me, your external environment is a projection of what's going on inside anyway. So when I look round, like I say, my room's a bit cluttered in here because I've been moving stuff and putting stuff in. So if I sort that, I'm like, in my mind, I'm sorting inside me as well. But sometimes, we're in a lot, like we're in a cluttered environment, whatever, and you haven't got time to sort that out. So that's where you can actually find other ways of creating a bit of space for yourself, even if it's like listening to a podcast or just walking outside, sitting with a book or just have a little read or something different that you actually switch off to it, like put a veil over it all, put it on ice, as they say, and think, right, okay, I know all that needs doing, everything's still there, but I'm having this space for me. And even if you draw a circle on the floor and put your chair in it, I go, this is the space in the whole of the universe that I'm having for me today. And I'm going to sit in this space and read or think or do nothing and then step back out of it. And actually, you will feel then that you're able to cope more with the external stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like an internal, external type thing, isn't it? But when you can find that space inside while all the craziness of the world's going on outside, like I say, even if you draw a circle and just put a chair in it and sit in it and go, this is my bit, corner in the house or whatever, just somewhere that you go. And I don't mean to scroll through your phone. Do you know what I mean? I mean for you, not to keep looking at more clutter inside a machine. You know what I mean? Because that's, I think, what people think. I'll have a break and then they go through Facebook, see what everyone else is doing and how wonderful the life is, and then you're like, and you're even worse. So no technology, put that away, and just have that time, like say, meditation, sing a song, have a dance, whatever it is you want that you do in your space, because that's your fuel, isn't it? It's like filling up your car. It's like plugging that phone in. We never let a battery on a phone die, do we, and leave it for days, but we do to ourselves. So, but just by actually physically making a bit of space for yourself, like, and it only needs to be as big as you, doesn't it? The space you make, and then you can come into yourself and, like, say, a meditation or just whatever you feel like, what your choices, should I say, that the path that people want to go down, because it's very individual, isn't it, how they make space for themselves. I mean, mine is literally, I'll sit with my cards and do myself a reading, or I'll put some meditation on, listen to another podcast and things like that. They're my go-tos. Sometimes if I've been like on a long journey, I'll just sit in the car when I get home. And when I was working in care homes, I was working around the Derbyshire area, and it's so busy all the time, phone going, laptop, emails, everybody wanting something. And it was great. I loved the job. It was fantastic. But when I come home at night, because sometimes it'd be a 3 hour drive and you're concentrating, and I'd just sit in the car outside in silence and just sit there. And that was my little bit to calm down, to come down from it before I came in the house. And, people like knock on the window, you okay? I go, yeah, I'm fine. I'm intending to do this, And I mean, I've got the most patient boyfriend in the world. He's really good. And he said to me one day, what are you doing? I said, I'm sitting on the bed. He said, I can see that, but what are you doing? I said, I'm sitting on the bed. I'm intending to do this. This is actually what I'm doing, or I'm doing nothing. And you're like, well, how can you do nothing? Which is really an inside out comment, isn't it? If you're doing nothing, you're doing something because you're doing nothing. Is that right? Don't know. But that's the type of thing I do. I think, oh, I'll just sit here for 5 minutes and nothing changes. You know what I mean? It doesn't harm anybody. Well done. But I feel better for it. So, yeah. I'm probably the wackiest person to talk to about stuff like that, Deborah, to be honest.
Oh no, it's all good, isn't it? It's all good, and that's really insightful, because you took my mind back when I was actually employed. Because a lot of these things, if you're working in an office with a lot of people and you suddenly feel that you've just, your head's about to explode because you've got deadlines to meet, your team needs you, or you said you do something for somebody and they're pecking your head, and you get like a flood of emails come through, and all of a sudden you just think, oh, I can't cope with anymore. What I used to do is I used to nip off to the loo, and I'd sit on the loo seat, and I'd just stare at a point on the door in the loo, in the cubicle, and just focus my mind on the spot. And it used to be, if you got like a peg, like you're hanging your coat, the peg you put your handbag on or what have you, And I'd stare at that and just completely look at it and think, where the screws in it, or what material was it made out of, or what's the shape of the thing. And I get my mind so focused on that other stuff used to then just go out of my head. And that way it was private. Nobody'd be thinking, oh God, she's staring off into space and, you know, she's off on one, or she's not working, or what have you. And it was that alone time that I could then just refocus and just let it go and go, right, what have I got to do first to get the biggest item of like what's causing me the biggest grief out the way? And if I could think about a series of, say, 3 to 5 things, no more than that, 3 to 5 things that I knew I could get done in the next hour, 2 hours, or what have you, depending on the complexity of what they are and the people that I needed involved with to help me get there, and go, right, that's what I'm going to focus on. Not everything else, not all the other stuff, but it's the biggest priorities, and get them out the way. And then each time I was getting through them, it was a question of I've got to, oh, sorry, just realized I didn't turn my battery on my laptop. There you go. Each time is getting through them is give myself a little internal cheer. It's like, hey, did it. Because that recognition of achievement, I might not have been able to do that outwardly because people are sort of bonkers, but like, yeah, you did it, kid, you did it, great, go on, and motivate yourself to the next bit. At the end of the day, I wouldn't feel so overwhelmed, and I got through the big things that I needed to do. And if I needed to tell colleagues that that's what I was doing, and please, you know, because in offices, in open plan offices, which is nice, people come up to you, they want to have a chat, you know, they're talking about stuff, etc. But it can be really distracting what you're actually doing, and create even more things that you've got to think about. And just say, look, for the next hour or two, I'm just not going to be around. So if you could just be mindful of that and not come to me. And setting those barriers was really useful. Those boundaries, I should say, barriers are the wrong word, boundaries with people, so that they knew, no, Debs has just got to concentrate for a bit. I'll leave what I needed to talk to her about until a couple of hours' time, and not keep on going back and scrolling through emails, not going through your phone, just focusing on those jobs and get them out of the way. That really felt, for me, it was like, oh, thank goodness, I think I've achieved a lot. I don't know if you come across stuff like that you've done.
I was just thinking then, Deborah, when you're saying, I can feel it like in myself, that when you do them ones and you're feeling, yeah, I've done that one, then you get on a momentum, don't you, that your energy is building up, that you just carry on then. And because you, again, like we keep speaking about, taking that time and looking at something. The one thing, and I have them on my desk all the time, candles. I always find just staring into a candle, if you just like candles, staring into a candle, that just switches me off. You know, just if you go in the park, take a blanket, lie down, look at the clouds floating past. You know, I spend hours doing these things. I have to actually be careful. I don't just do that and nothing else. so you know what I mean? I have to really keep myself in check. But yeah, looking at a candle is really good. I look, you know, gazing into a fire. It's nice, isn't it? And you just think, oh, lovely. You know, it doesn't. You know, it's just like an image of like you know, your fire flickering away in the winter when it's freezing, and you know, you're all cozy. You know, I like that. I've actually got over it, actually, a purple blanket that I got from a goddess retreat I went on. And sometimes, I know it sounds crazy, and I don't mind that, I just sit there with it on. I'm in the goddess retreat. We did a deep meditation where we put these blankets on us, and like overs, and just sat really cozy. And we had some like cacao chocolate that's absolutely gorgeous. And you know, it's like a spiritual shift that we were doing. But so when I feel like I just want to hide, I just put my blanket over me, and I think, and literally like a child, I don't think anyone can see me now. You know, just not all the time, but sometimes I just think, I'll put it on when I want to work, and I want to be a bit softer with the work I'm doing. You know, obviously not talking to somebody, but you know, if I'm writing something, or creating something, and I think, you know, and I will put it, and I use it when I do my card reading, to put it down and do the cards on top of it, because it's got that energy in it. You know, it's my energy that's in it, and what I believe, and my little bit of, like, you know, my connection to my I don't know what you call it now, attunement, really. It was like attuned to me, if you know what I mean. It sounds a bit crazy. It's a purple blanket, it's not even very big, but it's that special connection that time, because it was from that retreat, and it was just me and 2 other girls on it. It was absolutely divine. And because we did that, we took the time to go and do it, and came back with this, then it's got my goddess energy and stuff like that. So I go straight back to that place, when even looking at it, just knowing it's there, I can look at it and think, yeah, and I just get that feeling. It's anchored in me, like triggers come. We have anchors. Well, the anchors, when I anchor things like that, it's there. Like I was saying on previous podcasts, was, you know, snapshots of the grandchildren playing, and they're there. So we can call on them good things at any time. You know what I mean? So they're things that just create that little extra space. You know, I can spend a good 5 minutes in my head looking around at these snapshot pictures of my grandkids and feel great after, because I've had a good time with them. You know, like I say, I look at the blanket, it reminds me of that. So put in your physical space things that'll take you back to a happy time, to a good space. And even when you're not even looking at them, in your subconscious, it will pick it up. It will still pick them up. And it's doing that extra deeper layer work, isn't it? Of, you know, yeah, okay, so it's there. And I've probably clocked that 500 times a day and don't really realize I'm doing it. But it's that deep security of, that's truly me. That's the kind of person I am. That's where I belong in my, like, my senses type thing. And I'm anchored straight back to it. The second I look at it, to that feeling that I had there, to the meditation we did, to that spiritual shift. And we went this wonderful, you'd have loved it, Deborah, to be honest, wonderful tower that we shouldn't have been in, really, but don't tell anyone. And and it was all like rubble and everything. And oh no, there's a great big fence saying, you know, that it was not allowed to. We just moved that, because it was really easy
you'll
to
get
move.
shot if you
So,
go
yeah,
in there.
oh yeah, and we went in and did a goddess meditation. It was great. Yeah, so it's just having them things, isn't it, to do, and make it fun. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, people, they want to create a space for themselves to get away from stuff, but sometimes we just should do it anyway, shouldn't we? Just so that it enhances the good we're doing. You know what I mean? It enhances the good we're doing. And when we do get overwhelmed like that, and you come to, like, say, look at a candle, look at the hook on the door, whatever it is, even if it's just a fleeting thing, then it's sort of like, even if we're okay and we're doing okay, them things around us will only lift us a bit higher. So it's that all the time ascension type thing, isn't it? Being better, being further on, having it there, security links to who we are and what we believe. And other people don't need to know. Do you know what I mean? That sometimes they don't need to know, and sometimes we should probably tell them, because they probably need it too, and they might actually be doing it. There's probably lots of people in places we've worked that have been doing this stuff and didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was just wacky as anything anyway, so I just talk about it all the time. Yeah, we don't know what the next person's doing. You know, it's, yeah.
Well, and let's read about our little wacky,
but you know, you see
conversation.
somebody.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Yeah, we'd have never got any work done, Deborah.
Oh God,
we'd have only got self work done. No no
We're
business
sorted,
work.
but we've got no jobs
We
left.
talk forever.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, we know who we are, but we haven't got any money now, because
yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting about this space, because I liken it a bit like, you can have a beautiful room with beautiful furniture and lovely, beautiful sofa, lovely pictures on the wall, lovely lamps and ornaments, and just gorgeous. But then sometimes it's like the smoke that gets into the room that obscures the view. And sometimes the smoke, the stuff is like that overwhelm. It clouds the view of what's already beautiful and lovely. So in the end, you don't see it, because all you're dealing with is the smoke and the fact that you can't see anything in the room. It's obscured your vision. And it's working away and getting that smoke out of the room, getting all of that extra stuff that we can all be guilty of, just piling it in for the sake. Oh, will you do that? Yeah, all right. Well, could you do that? Oh, yeah, all right then. You know, it's just like, oh, you know, the kids need something, your husband or your partner needs something, or you've got to, oh yeah, and at home, and I've got to organize this, and I want to do a business trip, and I've got to organize that, and blah, 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 blah. And in the end, it's the smoke stuff. Not to say kids and people aren't important, but sometimes the beauty of what we have within us can get masked and the vision isn't clear. And so sometimes it's good to try and then get that smoke out of the room and see the beauty that we've perhaps not seen for a while within ourselves, and realize that with that space comes the opportunity to create and to just be, and to be at oneness with ourselves, and that self, in the nicest way, self-centered, that we're centered in ourselves, not meaning that we're not nice people, that we're selfish, but if we center around, because the only person that can make any difference in the world or change or do anything is ourselves, isn't it? So if we can see the beauty from within and see that we can give out, creating space for that, and having healthy boundaries around what we will do, or saying to people, work is one of those things, like everybody wants everything done yesterday. Well, actually, yes, I can do this. It will be in this time frame. Oh, couldn't you do it sooner? Well, not if you want a good job out of it. No, because I've got X, Y, and Z going on, and that would mean I would have to compromise something along the way, and the quality of it wouldn't be good. So it's just like setting realistic expectations, not just for other people, but for ourselves, so that we don't. And the other thing is not getting sidetracked into rabbit holes that don't really exist. But we think, oh, that would be nice. Or that I'm terrible, shiny little bright things that say, oh, that's interesting, and off I go. And then it's like, well, what about the core stuff that you said you do? Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about that, didn't I? And it's like, oh, crikey, I've hardly got any time left. So I've committed to quite a few things to do. I want to do some 5-day challenges for my business, and I've got to plan those. I said I'd be a guest on somebody's podcast, and I've got to do a 20-minute talk on something, and I've got to plan that. And it all great, wonderful. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, but I've got a business to run at the same time, and I've got staff that I've got to make. And it's just like, okay, so just be careful, Deborah. Don't stretch yourself too thin, because you've got to keep your core stuff always going on, making sure that that's where your main focus is on, and then think about these other nice value-added projects and stuff like that. But they've got to be woven in a way that I don't regret or feel that I'm completely stressed from having said yes to something that I think would be interesting. Because it's a shame then, because in the end, you think, oh God, I wish I'd never said yes to that. Which actually, in a way, we've all
done that many times.
Yeah, but our intention was, oh no, that sounds fun and exciting, but it was a bit too much in real life, or we've set it to do it too quickly. So it's setting realistic expectations of what we can fit in and what we can do without it turning sour.
I think that's it as well. And I think the main thing there is to think, what's my limit? What is my personal limit? What can I do and achieve a good outcome? Because obviously you want to give value, you want to do your job to the best of your ability, want to be the best friend, person, whatever you can be. So what's your cutoff point? And it is, I suppose, really acknowledging what is your cutoff point, because and this is really useful today, this podcast, Deborah, great, because I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, you're taking a bit much on last week, love, and you calm down now, because it is saying, like you say, no, I can't do that only in this time frame. Well, if you can do it quicker, well, I could do it quicker if I put something else down. So what is it you want me to put down? Because we just need to ask, don't we? Just say, we can't, we're only one person. And it's, I don't know, really. Sometimes I think, how does a mouse eat an elephant? Somebody once said, a bite at a time. We can't do it all in one go, And I think it's true, isn't it? We just need to do them in manageable chunks and things we can do. Setting your boundaries is so important. And you don't have to be, it can be soft boundaries, can't they? Don't have to be hard. That's the rule. We're able to change. But it's just knowing that it's not really going to hurt other people if we do that. You know what I mean? People probably have more respect and thought and consideration for you. And also they might actually learn, yeah, I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to say I'm not available that day. You know, so you have got that space, because like you say, you don't want to be regretting doing things, and it changes your energy when you get into a space of regret. You know what I mean? And then everything else changes. You know, like with energy, it changes everything else in your life as well. And as a sphere of being, as you say, it is everything integrated into it. And if we change something and start regretting and start thinking, oh, I'm tapping on a bit of bad energy like that, that's going to like literally integrate right through everything else we do. And it will show up in different areas, even in different relationships or work that we're doing. The energy's not right for the work and we're still trying to push it and do it. You know, we need to stay in that soul, to me, that soul place where, you know, this is my limit. This is fine. I don't have to push to do more. I don't have to, you know, give up and do less. This is my personal thing.
It's
So
really
I think
important.
it's a very good point for boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries. You see, I've got some non-negotiables.
Yeah, because like I said,
I'm sorry if I've that. I just thought I've got some non-negotiables. I didn't have non-negotiables before. So these non-negotiables, one is that I have to take my doggy out. I work from home. I work for my own business. Sometimes you'll see me working at 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes you'll see me working at 5 in the morning. But that suits me because in my life, I have some non-negotiables, which are I need to take my doggy out for a walk every day, decent walk, so she can have a run off the lead, be about an hour and a half. And she's got her little life, living her best life with her nose stuck in the grass, sniffling away, running all over the place, can't catch her, whatever recall's terrible. There we go. I am training her, but she's just a young pup and she's enjoying her life. But that's a non-negotiable. I do that every single day. Right, that's it. Come rain, come shine. She don't like it when it's raining, but tough. She has to go out anyway. Bless her. Is apart from a Wednesday when she goes for doggy daycare to socialize her and everything, every other day I'll take her out and I have a proper mindful walk with her where I enjoy watching her snuffle and sniff and wag a tail and jump up and run and all that. And I get a lot of pleasure out of that. She does as well. So that's great. So that's non-negotiable. And then another non-negotiable is that I do my morning routine, and that involves meditation and gratitude and mindfulness and giving thanks, you know, the gratitude bit, and thinking about all the love and abundance in the world and bringing myself into that. Now that takes about an hour and that is non-negotiable. And I plan my day. So I'll have 2.5 hours usually of that's it. I have to do that because that is something that I believe makes me much better, calmer, stronger, empowered, or what have you. And as long as it happens, it doesn't have to happen as in my morning routine, obviously, from when I wake up. But if I was working at 5 o'clock in the morning and done my morning routine, that's fine. But I have to have it at some point before 9. And with those non-negotiables, I will fit everything else around them so that they're always there during the course of that day. Because what I realized very quickly is when I wasn't setting them into my day, they get pushed to one side, and then my little doggy'd suffer because she wasn't going out properly. I'd suffer because I wasn't getting that mindfulness. I'd suffer because I hadn't built myself up properly for the morning and gotten myself going and with decent breakfast and all of that. And so I thought I'd operate much better doing it. So let's put it in the diary for every single day that those are the time frames, hour in the morning, hour and a half in the afternoon. And it obviously changes when it gets dark here in the UK during the winter, but it has to be every single day, apart from Wednesday, as I say, doggy daycare. And people respect you for it. And I'm very open with it. And I found that it's been a really good thing about creating that space and being like, this happens, and not feeling guilty about it, not feeling that, oh gosh, you know, other people wouldn't be doing that. In a way, I'm not comparing myself to other people. I just know what works for me.
Yeah, it's excellent to do things like that, Deborah, isn't it? And things like we say with like taking your dog and, you know, the dog can't take itself, sort of thing. So you're doing that, and then you get a self of pride because you've took the responsibility on, and you're looking after, you know, your pet as best you can. Whereas if you're not doing the, you know, it gets a shorter walk because you're a bit busy and you've let that that barrier goes, that not barrier, sorry, boundary go, and you're doing a bit more than you should, and it's not doing it. That's when you do start having them little things of regret, isn't it? Of, oh, I didn't get out for him today, I didn't do that today, and that's when we let ourselves down. And and it sort of chips away then at your confidence as well. So these things have like a wider like ripples on a pond, a wider effect on our life. We think, oh, it's just half an hour off that today. Or like I said before, I don't, I want, if I'm not doing my gratitude every day, after a day or two, I'm like, what's missing? And I think, oh, that's what it is. And then you have to go back and sort of like have a reset of it. But it's, it's just so good to do, because every single day you go and you think, yeah, that matters to me. This little dog matters to me, because the work will change, people in your life will change, but and probably one day your dog. But while you've got the dog, you're responsible for it. That's the kind of thing you do, and your own meditation, gratitude, journaling. That's a good start to your day. Making sure you've ate something properly. Feel body first. Then mind and soul. Making sure all them things are done. Over time, will have such a massive impact on your growth, especially spiritually, but growth in business and everything. Because when you're like that, sorted out, people know, and they also know that if you say, I'll do that every Thursday for the next 6 months, it will be done, because she has non-negotiables, and I've just become one. So, you know what I mean? They can see from you setting that down for yourself and your own self-respect in life and what you want from it, that, yeah, business with you is good, because, business with anybody like that's good, because they are going to make that time for you, because they're making time for themselves. And then we encourage others to do the same. And it's not easy. Again, it's not easy. But again, it's worth it, isn't it? So, to have a life without it now would be strange to you. I should imagine it'd be, if you just stop doing it, it'd be like, whoa, it's good. It's so good that it's set in and done. I mean, mine does change with people and shifts and this and that, but I still have stuff that I do before 6, 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? It's things get done by that time. 90 minutes, first 90 minutes of the day is on the business, not in the business. And after that, I know I've done something towards it every day. Otherwise, it would just fade away. And it is that like compounding fact, isn't it? This factor of compounding things that, there's another word for it, isn't there? I can't remember that. So the more you do it, it grows and grows and grows strength itself, until it becomes a part of us, literally a part of us, like breathing and walking. We just do it because it's natural now. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Non-negotiables.
Yeah, yeah. Because I
yeah,
mean, as I say,
yeah.
When gosh, I'm very open with my background and my history, because it's part of me, and I embrace it. But people pleasing was a huge, big thing for me, and I would put myself. Well, I don't even think I'd put myself anywhere. To be honest with you, it wasn't even on the spectrum. I was just like non-entity, and you please everybody else, and yeah, didn't help anything. In fact, actually, half the time I was meddling anyway. I was trying to fix stuff which wasn't my job to fix anyway. But no, I mean, that's a different subject. But busy trying to help everybody else, because I wanted to fit in, be loved, because I didn't think I was worthy of love and all of that business. But ultimately, I was a busy fool, because people didn't really appreciate it, because I was just all over the place at the beck and call. And once the boundaries were set, they didn't kick off necessarily with people, but some people, well, like you always did, I just say one thing, you go do it. And I'm like, it's not going to happen like that anymore. I've got more self-worth now. I've got more. Oh, well, you were just the person that did everything for everybody. And I think a lot of, love chaps, love ladies, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, but I think a lot of ladies, a lot of women out there are the ones that, kind of like giving to everybody else, kids, family, work, trying to do so much. And then we're just thinking, just like, we're caring for those who care for others on this podcast. It's like, well, where am I in all of this? Where's me? I don't exist anymore. I'm everybody else's thing. And it's like, you do it from the best of intentions, but at the end of the day, you lose your own self. Well, I did anyway. I didn't even know who I was. And it was just like, oh, right, okay. And now I feel empowered, and I do it because I want to do it rather than I feeling like I have to, which is a big difference.
Yeah.
If I want to do it because I love doing it,
Yeah, it's a big
rather than
shift.
if I didn't, people wouldn't like me. That's a very different way of looking at things. And it created more space for me in my mind, because I felt more centered and I felt more able to create my own pathway in life, as opposed to completely being at the beck and call and at the whim of everybody else, and not being able to say
It
no.
brings you back to it brings you back to your authentic self, though, Deborah, doesn't it? Where this is me, and the boundaries are okay, and you know what I mean. It helps you then to be your true self, because no one's pecking away at it 24 hours a day. You know, there's nothing else coming to press you down or move you this way and that way. We're not giving everything we've got anymore. We're actually going, actually, my time for me, and me first. Sometimes it's me first. And at some point of every day, it has to be me first. Otherwise, I can't do anything for anybody. You just end up absolutely fried out, and you're no use. Like a rag that's just wrung out that much, you know what I mean? That you just sit there, your head in your hands, thinking, what now? So don't let me phone ring, don't let anybody come to me, nothing. But it all adds up to that being the true you, doesn't it? And when you acknowledge yourself and you do take time for yourself and space, it adds to that authenticity of, you know, this is how I can truly give, genuinely give, without thinking, oh, I suppose I have to do this, or I don't really want to do that, or, you know, I'll do it because it shuts them up. But when you go, actually, no, this is how I'm still going to give, I'm still going to do, but I'm going to do it from a different place, because I do take that time and space for me. And it's got to be a me first type of thing. So
Yeah, no, it's so important, that, and it's really good, and it's easier said than done, like most of these things. You know, oh gosh, I'm
yeah,
still a work in progress. I'm not there, but I can still see old patterns recurring quite a lot. But I'm definitely making sure that I've got the space in my own head. I've got the space, got the strength in my own being to be the best version that I can. And I'm good now. We're good enough now. You know, it's not that we're all awful. We're all wonderful. We're all doing a great job. But ultimately, for me, it's like, could it be better? And the answer was, oh yeah, it could be a lot better.
oh, we can always be better, can't we? That's the idea of us, I think, of being spirits and souls, is to always go for advancement, for change, for, you know. And I know some people just don't, but that's okay too.
That's
I
all all right,
just know
isn't
that
it?
for me
Everything's
to be
okay.
me, I have to. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's that everything's okay. Yeah, but you
yeah,
know, if people do want to make the change, then let us know. Come and make some change.
yeah,
We'll help.
absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to hear from people. So yeah, we're coming up for time now. Is there anything, Norma, that you'd like to leave everybody with thought, or anything on creating that space and
Yeah,
keeping that space? Maybe is one of the things which
yeah.
is easy, because it's good
Well,
to
that's
create.
it. Once you've cleared it, keep it there, you know. And again, just acknowledge it, notice it, make the change that's needed. And if you do need help to do that, then find the help somewhere, look at what you need, and that's it. And if we can help point in the right direction, then that's what we'll do.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we'll close with that because we're running out of time. But thanks ever so much, everybody, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye now. Bye.
Thanks, Deborah. Take care,
Bye.
love. Bye
Bye,
bye
love.
bye.
Bye.